everyone, and welcome to the Esports channel. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Dom, and we've got a lot of coverage to go through today, recapping all of the events that happen in the esports and gaming world. But first, we do want to remind everyone, we do now have a Twitch channel. You can find us on twitch.tv/esports_channel, and
watch me play live.
Yeah,
That'll
exactly.
be amazing.
If you have your own bloopers or highlights that you want to see us feature on the show, send them down to info@esportschannel.com. Again, both of those links are in the doobly-doo down in the description.
Give us your comments. Don't forget to like. Please don't forget to subscribe.
So now let's go ahead.
This is your Daily HUD.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the ESL Pro League results for CSGO. We finally saw the conclusion of Group D in North America. And let's go ahead and run through that real quick. Daytona Gaming took first place in the group at 3-0, and they will be advancing to the next stage.
Isters Gaming took 6 points, matches 2-1. Infinity Sports, 3 matches, 2-1. Denial Esports.
Infinity went 1-2 overall, and Denial Esports took last place in the group at 0-3. Denial Esports now will be eliminated. We're going to see Infinity and Isurus moving on to the second round of groups, which is set to return on May 14th.
European returns on the same day, and meanwhile CSGO, well, we'll see. They're yet to be released.
Yeah, and now IEM 14 Sydney starting tomorrow, April 30th. This is the premier Australian CSGO event. It's starting April 30th, running until May 5th. $250,000 prize pool.
Big teams are going to be there. We've got FaZe, Liquid, and surprisingly though,
Astralis is missing from the lineup. We're not going to get the chance to see them compete here. I'm not sure if they didn't get an invitation or they decided to decline their invitation, but there are still plenty of huge teams competing in this tournament. And again, this is a premier level CSGO event. We've had some minors, we've had some majors. This is one of the big dogs. So you should absolutely be keeping your eyes on the results for this. But as it starts tomorrow, we will also be providing results and recaps of those games as they happen. But
moving on to Madden Bowl results. Yeah, speaking of recaps, moving on to Madden Bowl results this past Saturday, April 27th, the Madden Bowl 19 Bowl 2019 Championship Series finals.
Yeah.
Drini and Joka earned his title of the new Madden King. This is his second match and his second MSC under his belt as he won against Michael Spoto at a whooping 41-0 score.
Yeah, now Drini, he should be a household name for Madden fans. He came into halftime at 31-0, and the second half of the game really was just a formality. We've got to remember, Spoto qualified into the Madden Bowl in the last chance qualifiers
barely
just a week ago.
Yes.
And while his performance in the qualifiers were good, he then proceeded to advance all the way up to the grand finals to take on Drini, and apparently got absolutely smashed. Because as we said, this is Drini's second title belt. So again, he's been competing, he's been playing for a long time, he's been doing some really good stuff, and has now happily earned himself a comfortable $200,000 as a result of that over his time in MCS tournaments. In other Madden news, we also just recently, this past weekend, found out who the new cover of Madden 2020 is going to be.
Yeah, we've got a little rookie player.
Mahomes from the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm not the football.
That's 100%.
I'm not the football. I'm the video
we're Madden.
game.
Yeah. But he's on the cover.
Yeah, he's getting the cover. Rookie. He's played 2 years. Didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but it's very, very good to see the NFL recognizing his talent so early on in his career and saying, "Hey, this is a guy to watch."
Yeah.
However, we do have to remember there is a little bit of a Madden curse where players who are featured on the cover don't make it into the Super Bowl the next year.
Right.
So if he's this young talent who's taking names and chewing bubble gum and kicking ass, and suddenly people recognize him for that and they put him on the cover, will he be able to break the curse and attend the Super Bowl?
Well, I think EA really just hopes to really give him some momentum, give him some ability to move forward, and then also create a character that maybe they can work on and that they can build up and that will maybe last.
He's getting a lot of recognition at the very least, which certainly bodes well. But in other sports news, this sport has cars and jetpacks and giant exploding balls. The Rocket League Championship Series Season 7 7 returned. Week 4 saw its matches this weekend. Why don't you go ahead and walk me through what happened in North America?
In North America, Ghost Gaming won 3-2 versus Space Station Gaming. G2 was 3-0 against Splice. Ghost Gaming again, 3-0 against Rogue. Splice again against Evil Geniuses. That is Evil Geniuses won 3-0. Space Station 3-1, Cloud9. G2 1-3 against Energy Sports. Energy are now 5 in the standings, with G2 just behind at 5-1. This is their only loss. Their only loss has been to G2 Esports.
To be clear, G2's only loss has been to Energy.
Right.
So these top 2 teams are neck and neck with each other. We saw the clash of the Titans this past weekend, but it was Energy who was victorious because they're now 5-0 and G2 ended up dropping that match. So again, if you're looking for highlights, that's going to be the game to take a peek at, but that's not all.
CS9 have dropped their first match of the season, though they faltered in games in week 3. Maybe their momentum is drifting apart. Not quite sure.
It's a tough question.
The middle of the pack is all tied up. Space Station 2-3, then Ghost and Evil Geniuses at 2-4. And let's move over to Europe.
Yeah. Europe sort of was a little bit of a different picture. We saw Maus versus Barcelona in our first game of the day, in which Barcelona was victorious at 3-1. After that, Triple Trouble challenged Vitality, and it took that big old W at 3-1 themselves. Maus returned to the stage to take on PSG Esports. That game went the distance, went all the way to game 5 at 3-2. Barcelona then advanced again to play 3-0 against the Bricks. Dignitas went 2-3 against Triple Trouble. And in our final game of the day, Team Solo Mid went 1-3 against PSG Esports. Now, Vitality is the first in the league at the end of the week. They're at 5-1. Their only loss is to Triple Trouble. Now, PSG and Triple Trouble are just behind them in second and third at 4-2 apiece. In the middle of the pack, you've got Barcelona and TSM, who are also at 3-2. So where North America has a top, a middle, and a bottom, Europe is much more clearly separated. You've got your top, which is a little bit larger, and your bottom. So there isn't really a middle of the pack with everyone all neck and neck with each other in those European games.
Right. So hopefully, maybe, perhaps we'll see people move ahead, but it looks like things are pretty locked in the standings.
So again, there are only 2 weeks left of the Rocket League Season 7. There isn't a huge amount of room. A couple of these teams might have some 4 games left to play, some 2-0 matches, could springboard them in the standings, but with how close the top of the standings are, they would have to beat teams that are ostensibly better than them because they are already higher in the standings. Plus, you can take the whole strength of schedule consideration. Are they playing against the best teams? Are they playing against the worst teams? Will they be able to beat the teams that are ahead of them? So again, we're going to keep all of these results coming at you over the course of the next few weeks because RLCS still kicking on strong.
Yes, definitely. Also, who's kicking on strong is Fortnite. The online's open week 3. The North American results and qualifications solo 1.
Yes.
Tfue.
Tfue, the man, the myth, the legend.
The legend, Tfue.
The man himself got first place in the North American East Online Opens, went home with $5,000 in his pocket and a ticket to the World Cup. Now, Tfue, he's a very, very popular streamer right now. Maybe not quite up to Ninja levels, but the competition is close for him. And a lot of people say that he is the best Fortnite player in the world right now. Better than Ninja, better than everyone, better than all competition. Rumor has it, well, I suppose it's not really rumor, it's true, he did take a hiatus before the Fortnite World Cup.
Due to an injury.
Yes, he did have a neck injury and was taking a brief hiatus before the event. However, now in week 3, he shows up, he enters, and he gets first place.
Was that an injury?
I don't know if we can doubt the veracity of whether or not someone is really injured because that's between them and their doctor.
Right.
But if you are competing in the Fortnite Online Opens and you have 10 million subscribers on YouTube and you earn 2.4 million viewers in a grand total of 2 days, then maybe you want to get some of the eyes away from yourself so that you can compete without people trying to sneak in, without people trying to stream cheat effectively, and get into games with you so that they can deliberately hamper your
understand
progress.
your technique.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, big props to Tfue. Now Rise XXIF got $4,000 in second place. Unknown Army got third place with $3,000. Funk got $2,500 with Niddle Effin getting 2250, and Som getting 2,000 from Team CLG. In Oceania, we've got Cat taking Walls, the sole qualifier for this week, getting himself $2,500. In Brazil, we've got I Am Lasers, which is pretty awesome. Hold on, how do you play the game if you're just lasers? Wouldn't you like melt your keyboard at that point?
I am pure lasers.
Exactly. Yeah,
I am light.
Or maybe he's the embodiment of lasers.
Right.
He just has to go straight to the end. He's going to be in first place. Behind that, you've got Kurtz in second, also qualifying.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if that's in real or is that US dollars?
Yeah, I believe it is in US dollars that is translated.
Fantastic.
And now in Asia, we've got two more qualifiers, Bani at 3,000 and Takamaram at 2,500 apiece. So we're starting to fill things out. 3 out of 10 weeks down and already 3 million prize pool distributed to these players. And still, for those of you who you're like, Fortnite, I'm not a fan of this. The new Avengers game mode, highly recommend playing it. Even if you're not a fan of Fortnite, the team deathmatch style is very, very entertaining and engaging.
Interactive.
Yes.
And just something a little bit new.
Yeah. Very cool. But hey, we've still got more news to cover.
Okay, the Northwest Majors, PNW, my home turf. We'll be focusing today on the winners bracket. As we review the stats, again, I want to remind you that this is an open competition. The maximum registration fee hovering at around $40 and $80 if players wanted meals covered during the 2 days of intense fighting. Our very happy contestants gave us many winners, and I invite you to have a look at their website to perhaps get a chance to look ahead at who might be our next professional player to keep an eye on.
And that website will be smash.gg with all of the results, and you can just Google Northwest Majors. I think they're nwm.com, or it might be northwestmajors.com, and you'll be able to find those results right away. But let's get into the games. Dragon Ball FighterZ started things off with Chris taking the victory there, and then we take a look at Soul Calibur 6.
Soul Calibur 6, let's see, against Jetlag Linksora. Linkors. Took BXA Party Wolf 3-0. Blaze Blue had Ebonic Plague, took Isopora 3-2. Tekken 7, which is also running their World Tour event. From what we can tell, the Northwest Majors wasn't officially listed on the Tekken World Tour roster. As the Northwest Majors, they served as a challenger event, putting Jimmy J. Tran and Anakin that much closer to the top 10 in the Tekken World Tour. At the Northwest Majors, Jimmy J. Tran dropped from the winners bracket into the losers, losing against Anakin 3-1. He then won the losers bracket, giving him enough points to compete again against Anakin for the grand finals, only to lose 3-0.
Yeah,
good game.
Seems like he found his nemesis in that matchup. But still, with the Tekken World Tour leaving Jimmy J. Tran and Anakin tied for 12th place in the standings. However, this morning, we're still looking to see if those have been updated because, again, the tournament did just wrap up yesterday. So,
at 9:30 at night,
still
Pacific time.
Yeah.
So that's about 4 a.m. around here.
12:30 our time. 9:30. You add 3 hours. We're not talking like China over here.
Oops.
It's a little bit closer than that. But still, there are a lot of really cool games that took place.
Exactly. We got to see in Street Fighter, Sonic Box 801 Strider competed. A contest for Sonic Box 801. He took 8 wins and 0 losses in the competition. The incredible win comes at no surprise for Strider, who is at the top of the standings in the North American League of the Capcom Pro Tour.
And now that Capcom Pro Tour will continue on over the course for the rest of the year. And you can see that he's currently sitting at a very happy 400 points
way
in
ahead
those standings.
Of any
how close are we talking? Second place, like 200?
The
like
next is
300?
Sonic Fox, and he has 123 points.
Oof.
Yeah.
You would really expect Sonic Fox to be doing higher.
I know.
But I guess he's already doing Mortal Kombat, he's doing Dragon Ball.
He's all over the
and
place.
He's also doing Street Fighter. I mean, Sonic Fox does pretty much everything. But hey, Mortal Kombat, we've been talking about it a whole bunch.
Yes.
They had their moment in the sun just after being released with Chris G taking the win in that tournament from 2 easy at 1-3. Then we've got Guilty Gear. Tenpai came out on top against Hellsap 3-1, with Tenpai reflecting the Tekken games jump up from the losers bracket to take Dave O in a 3-0 victory. And this is where we've got to point out, Chris G won 2 tournaments.
Yes.
He won Dragon Ball FighterZ and Mortal Kombat 11. For those of you who are familiar with fighting games, this should be a household name for you. He did win EVO, I want to say 2016 for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. Might have been 2015, you'll have to check his wiki for that. But he's still competing, and he's still competing in multiple games. So to see him hop on the Mortal Kombat train less than a week after its release and win the first major tournament for it, and then also show that, hey, he's still top of his game in Dragon Ball FighterZ, perhaps we could be seeing a resurgence from Chris G to swing back towards the top of the standings.
Well, you got to give it to evil geniuses to give us those best players.
Exactly.
So, congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, now we're going to turn our attention towards the Overwatch Week 4 results. The Overwatch League resumed on Saturday and Sunday at Dallas, Texas, with a lot of games on the docket. Paris Eternal started things off at 0-4 against London Spitfire. After that, Hangzhou Sparks went 3-1 against the Chengdu Hunters. Seoul Dynasty took on the Houston Outlaws at 4-0. Los Angeles Valiant went 0-4 against Dallas Fuel. On Sunday, Hangzhou went 3-2 against Paris Eternal. Chengdu went 3-1 against London Spitfire. From there, Seoul Dynasty went 3-2 against LA Valiant, and then the Houston Outlaws in a Texas versus Texas matchup. Houston Outlaws versus Dallas Fuel. DFW, Dallas Fuel, took a 3-1 victory overall. So,
well, it was really great coverage for you, Dom.
Yeah, exactly.
You got both
it's exciting. Again,
covered.
These games happened in Dallas, Texas, at the Allen Event Center, which actually just saw the Super Saiyan Showdown a little bit earlier. So we did get a chance, earlier last week. So we got a chance to preview the arena. But the energy in the arena was awesome. Monty and Doa had themselves a blast. You can check out their Twitters for all the fun that they had. And I believe this was the first home team game in esports in North America.
Wow.
I could be wrong for different games perhaps, but different.
This is a big championship game.
Exactly,
yeah.
And that was the whole thing that Overwatch wanted to institute in the first place with franchising and regional teams. There's a reason it's not just the Hunters versus the Spark. It is the Chengdu Hunters versus the Hangzhou Spark, and the San Francisco Shock and the Dallas Fuel, to have that regional bias all the way around, so that eventually you actually do have a traveling circuit all the way around the Americas.
You can't deny the 12th man.
Get that crowd in there. So is it the 6th man, the 5th man, sorry, it's the 7th man in Overwatch.
What is it in esports?
The
billionth
I guess it depends.
Man who decides
exactly.
to show up.
The Twitch man, which it bodes very, very well, because it seems like the event was very, very successful. And even just prior towards it, we found out that the event had received a new sponsor from Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Yes.
Took over this weekend. This deal was announced before the Overwatch League went on the road. There was Dallas Bud Light Homestead Weekend as a kickoff to the brand.
And that was this past weekend,
right.
Already we're seeing the brand deals go into effect, and it continues to expand in really big ways.
Yes, we've got Coca-Cola and Toyota stepping in and offer their sponsorship. They will be interested in seeing how non-North American fans will react to this new beer sponsor.
Yeah, I know. Beer is kind of a ubiquitous thing in sports culture. You go to a game, you sit down, you have a beer, and you watch your game.
Yeah.
That's the question for esports.
Yeah.
Does it do the same thing? Because
I don't know.
At least when playing
you do not
esports,
want to be under the influence.
Exactly. So while spectating esports, that creates an interesting experience, especially when you take into effect how different people consume the esports experience overall.
Right.
You take a look at Chinese beer brands and how they can possibly, I suppose, monolithically stack up against the Bud Lights and whatever other beers.
I think we should just have like
culture.
spa day at the competition.
Oh, that would be
great.
great.
You go there, you get your feet done.
Sponsored by
you watch.
massage service. Yeah. Every single chair is like the massage chair as you're watching the game. That would be
I mean, they
great.
spend hours there. That
Exactly,
would be
and
the blood flow moving.
those days usually are pretty long, so it is exciting to see events like that. Maybe
we'll see how this
get something
evolves.
like that.
That'll
but
be
now
great.
Turning our attention towards another sports game, the NBA 2K League also resumed on Friday. We're just going to run through the results real quick.
The Cavs lost 51-59 against the Blazers. The Celtics lost 60-62 against Kings Guard. The Cavs won against the Pistons at 70-60. The Blazers won at 73-66 against Net SGC. Kings Guard won 64-60 against the 76ers.
Yeah, and what this basically means is that the Blazers are still at the top of the standings after Friday's game from those teams that played. They're at 4-1 right now. They had their 2-0 week with that yesterday. Kings Guard also had a good 2-0 day. However, their matches were a little bit closer. They're at 4-2 in the standings. Tragically, though, the Pistons still down at the bottom of the standings. Now, we've still got a lot of weeks to go. Week 4 will resume on Wednesday and continue on till Friday. And again, that was week 3 of many more weeks of play. I want to say it goes out to 14 or possibly 16 total weeks of the NBA 2K League.
So they might still have a chance, those beloved Pistons.
The NBA 2K League also follows a regional format similar to Overwatch, where teams are actually based regionally around the United States. That's where they keep their home base during the regular week. And then on game days, Wednesday through Friday, they fly to New York, where they participate in a battle arena to compete. But for all days outside of that, they are actually staying in their own regional cities.
Creating kind of that home team advantage in a way, building up the momentum before heading back to the stadium.
Exactly, bringing in that sixth man that you mentioned, getting that sort of crowd associated. Exactly.
Whatever.
But the big difference, though, is the Overwatch League is now already starting to bounce around to different stadiums and arenas. NBA 2K League, they've got their players already all spread out, but they only have one arena to play in New York.
Right.
So it looks like the NBA 2K League is on their way to mimic the Overwatch League, which is already mimicking regular sports. So now we've got a sport video game mimicking a regular video game mimicking regular sports. At what point have we gone full circle with that whole thing?
It's getting close. It's getting close. I would just hate to be the LA team and have to fly to New York
all the
every
way.
single
Oh
day,
yeah. I mean, at that point, you get really good audiobooks or podcasts, or
or
even then
watch the Esports channel.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like get yourself a Nintendo Switch and just play games on there with the local Wi-Fi. But in other news,
moving on to Cloud9.
Yeah, we were just talking about Cloud9 a little earlier and how they ended up dropping in the RLCS. In other worlds for Cloud9, they have added a second Apex Legends team. This is their first ever full roster of Apex Legends from Brazil.
Muito bem.
Yes, and now other organizations such as Immortals and
it's close.
Sorry. We could get some Portuguese in here. I don't know.
Bom bom, muito bom, muito bom.
We'll just keep on throwing sound effects. Monkeys at typewriters. Eventually, we'll get it.
Muito bom.
Immortals and Luminosity Gaming currently have their own teams from Brazil in Counter-Strike. However, the Battle Royale shooter Apex Legends launched in February to huge Twitch viewership, and several other organizations have already signed Apex Legends teams. However, the Apex Legends on Twitch has steadily been dropping in viewers, and I think the conversation is also adding towards that. We still have not seen a competitive format from Apex Legends.
Right.
Fortnite has their World Cup. PUBG has their own League series going on that will be resuming very, very soon. Apex Legends.
The people are ready. They want to see a competition.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
They came in huge. They absolutely blew up, and then they haven't really done anything with that. Right. However, again, they've been having some very, very good conversations with the community in general, saying, hey, we don't want crunch. We don't want to do a Fortnite weekly cycle or even a bi-weekly cycle. We want to do a seasonal cycle, which is usually 10 to 15 to maybe even 20 weeks long. So they're saying, we don't want to be constantly updating and changing and making that part of the thing. Exactly.
It's becoming more like sports every day.
Yeah. However, we still need to see their competitive format. We need to see custom lobbies and spectate. Again, for fans of Respawn, they've still got that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game coming out relatively soon. There are rumors that they're working on Titanfall 3, and from all the discussion that I have heard, they are not pulling developers off of these two massive projects that fans are literally on the edge of their seats for. I cannot wait for Titanfall 3. I actually played through the campaign a little bit this past weekend of Titanfall 2 because we were talking about Respawn last week. We're looking at them keep their developers on their core projects. So Apex Legends is still very much a passion project. It's still a very small to medium-sized team. Yeah. So will they have enough momentum by the time they finally do have a competitive league, or will their momentum die out?
I think that their fan base seems pretty strong with that growth on the Twitch channel, and I think that perhaps maybe they want to really consider how they want to move forward in the competitive field. We don't want to see a flub like we're watching right now with our Mortal Kombat 11. We don't want to see something that our fans reject.
Turned off of really quick. And that could entirely be a part of the consideration, that they're coming in, they've seen so many other esports try to enter the space unsuccessfully before them, and now they're taking their time and making sure that they get it right. I mean, Rocket League only just announced franchising 7 seasons after the fact. I want to say the game came out in 2015. So it's a little bit late, but hey, it's finally time. So we'll have to see if Apex Legends can do something similar. Finally though, we do have the Rainbow Six Pro League. They closed out their week 14 on Friday. Why don't you walk us through those games?
Penta Esports lost against the Slim Esports 4-7. Team Secret won against Chaos 7-5. Navi was tied 6-6 against G2 Esports. Mouse lost to Team Empire at 3-7. Team Empire and Lestream both won their games and are still at the top of the standings by a country mile, advancing to the grand finals in Milan, returning on May 18th.
Yeah,
we'll look forward to that.
We do have a few weeks in between the time for those tournaments to happen.
So
regular
then
season
get ready
finishes,
for that big tournament in Milan. I would love to go to Milan.
Yeah,
I would.
I mean,
but you were able to go somewhere. You were able to go to a gathering.
I've been all over. Yes, a different kind of gathering. Magic the Gathering, because you're
Love
reading
it.
ahead. We had the Magic the Gathering Mythic Championship 2 this past weekend, in which Eli Loveman was able to win Modern, taking the 2nd Mythic Championship of 2019. This is his 5th Mythic Championship appearance. Over the course of the series, he had 3 fast games before the 4th finally slowed down. I didn't quite get a huge chance to watch the coverage on this event. However, if you want to catch up on what happened and what the pros are doing, you can find all that information at mtgarena.com, or sorry, mtgesports.com. Arena is the game. We also, however, saw the release of War of the Spark this past weekend, and as you said, I did go to a gathering. I went to a sealed draft event and went 2-2, which is okay, I guess. But
not bad for not playing for a while.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good.
For those of you who don't know anything about Magic and maybe are a little bit interested or curious, you can find MTG Arena online, which has a very good tutorial system to teach you the rules and concepts. It looks very, very complicated. It looks like mind-numbingly crazy. It's really not. It's effectively chess with cards. You learn a handful of rules and apply them to unique situations, and it creates very fun and compelling experiences. Now, at the tournament itself, Saturday, we saw the draft format where a handful of players went a full 6-0, in which Yuya Watanabe really turned a lot of heads. This guy's crazy. He did a 4-color deck, splashing a 5th for Niv Mizzet Reborn, which is who goes into a draft and then does a 5-color deck, even a 4-color splashing a 5th. That is so absurdly risky, and he still ended up going 6-0 over the course of that draft. Absolutely crazy, dude. But you can find his draft list and his actual deck list on mtgarena.com by navigating around their esports side. But that's all of our coverage for today.
Well, before we stop, I want to get a grasp on what you're saying.
Sure.
So a deck of 5, colored deck, you're saying?
Yes.
4
so
deck.
The way that Magic works is there are 5 different colors.
Right.
And usually when you build the deck, you pick 1 or maybe 2 or sometimes even 3 colors. So you have white, red, black, green, and blue. And when you build your deck, you want there to be synergy. In order to play green cards, you need to have green land.
Right.
In order to play white cards, you need to have white land, and so on and so forth. So
he took a big risk having 4 different colors.
yes, he took a very big risk taking 4, which requires a lot of luck or a lot of synergy, which is in which the cards work together very well. In order for him to actually take 5 is a lot of flexibility. Hoping effectively to get that 5th color to be able to play Niv Mizzet the Reborn. So normally you would pick 1 or 2 colors and you stick to that. And if you don't have any white land to play white cards, you can't play the white cards. If you don't have any green, so on and so forth.
Yes.
So if you have all red cards in your hand but all blue land,
That doesn't work out
you're
well
kinda,
in your favor.
Exactly.
So what a psycho.
So he, pretty much, yeah. He took 4 colors and splashed a 5th.
Wow.
Which is wild.
impressive.
His deck list is super fun. I highly recommend going to MTG Arena to take a look at it a little bit more. But if you're still interested in Magic, I can show you the tutorial of MTG Arena and sort of teach you that style of how
Let's
to play,
do it,
because
Dom.
it is very compelling.
I would love to. That'd be
Awesome.
great.
But
Yeah.
hey, again, that's our coverage for today. We don't have any more esports to talk about. However, we will still be returning tomorrow and beyond to cover all the remaining events that are happening
Yes,
today.
and if you have any esports or anything that you would like us to share, please feel free to comment below. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We would love to cover your regional game, definitely, and
Yeah.
give you a shout out.
Absolutely, and if you think there's anything that we missed over the course of this weekend's coverage,
Yes.
let us know that as
Please
well.
do. Thank
And
you
also,
for watching.
yeah, we will be streaming some more on Twitch later this afternoon, twitch.tv/esports_channel, where we will continue to put out more additional content. But on behalf of myself
And everyone here at the Esports channel,
Thank
my
you
name
so
is
much for
Sierra.
watching.
Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm Dom. Have a good night, and GG.
GG. Good job.